Morning. I tried to record this video a minute ago. I stopped 4 times because of just stuff going on around my house this morning. So we are going to just start from scratch. I've had a few sips of coffee already, but nothing crazy. It's still, first cup of coffee. And I'm so excited for some stuff going on this week. Like I said, I'm going to have on Monday a big grocery haul for you guys, showing you all the fun fall stuff that I'm excited about. I am going to Sam's Club to see what kind of new fall stuff that they have. And I am going to Trader Joe's this weekend, which I do not go to Trader Joe's very often. It's about an hour and a half either way. I can go down to Athens or up to Columbia. And so I don't go very often. And so I'm really excited to try some fall festive fun things from Trader Joe's. Only sucky part is when my family really loves an item, and then I'm like, sorry, I only bought 2. I'm not going an hour and a half just for like a couple of things. No, if I go to Trader Joe's, I'm buying a cart full of things. I digress. That'll be Monday's video. 100th read is coming up. There's going to be a poll up this weekend because I am going to probably start my 100th read this weekend because I'm currently almost done with my 98th read. So then I'll read my 98th read, my 99th read throughout the week this week. And start Sunday or Monday, my 100th read. It's always really exciting for me. And I do have a couple of front runners, but I am going to put up a poll to see on Saturday what you guys think from the 5-6 choices that I have that are kind of at the forefront of what I would like my 100th read to be this year. And what are we talking about today? Because I finished my 97th read, and that is the Shadow and Ember by Jennifer Armentrout. Now, Shadow and Ember is interconnected with the Blood and Ash series that I've been reading. I've read the first 3 books in that series, waiting on the 4th book from the library, The War of Two Queens, and then the 5th book just dropped. It'll be a minute before my library probably gets that one. I loved the first 2 books from Blood and Ash and Soul of Ash and Blood or whatever. No, I think Soul of Ash and Blood is the newest one. But the first 2 books from Blood and Ash I absolutely loved. Loved. Crown of Gilded Bones was slow to me. I would be lying if I said it wasn't. That's why I said I'm not doing a full review of the From Blood and Ash series until I have finished all the 5 books that are out. And I'm going to give book 4 another chance because book 3 was just not my cup of tea. And that's okay because Shadow and Ember made up for it. And I was hoping that it would. I'm not going to lie, when it dropped from the library, I was a little bit like, ugh, because I didn't want to read it at that moment. I was like, Crown of Gilded Bones was such a struggle read. It was just kind of boring to me. I don't want to get stuck on a book or in a slump, so I'm not going to read this. But I pushed through and I read it and I really, really liked it. This one takes a little bit of a different approach. It deals with different characters. It deals with Seraphina, who is the maiden at her time. She came before From Blood and Ash. And Seraphina is supposed to be the partner, coruscant, person with Niketos, who is a primal god. And a lot of things happen. She meets this guy Ash, and she kind of knows he's a god, and she kind of falls for him, but she knows what her life is supposed to be, so she can't really let herself. And turns out Ash and Niketos are the same person. She goes to the Shadowlands to live with him after her stepbrother tries to kill her. It's a lot of stuff going on, but it was really well done, and it was really, really, really good. I finished that yesterday, and highly recommend that one. Now, somebody told me that there is a reading order That is different than what I did. I think I found it on TikTok or on Pinterest that has you read the first 2 Blood and Ash books, if I'm not mistaken, and then Shadow and Ember before book 3 of the Blood and Ash series. And I kind of wish I would have read it that way, and maybe book 3 wouldn't have been so boring to me, because maybe it was going to give me more information that was potent in Crown of Gilded Bones. I don't remember much of Crown of Gilded Bones. I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of thumped through that one. I was bored and I finished it. I did not DNF it. Knock on wood, I have not DNF'd a single book so far this year. And I'm very proud of that. And so yeah, I have not DNF'd a single book this year out of the 98 that I'm read. And yeah, I finished Gilded Bones, but it was not my favorite thing in the world. I usually only DNF a few books a year. It has to be really, really terrible for me to DNF it. Generally, what I do is I start to skim, right? I start to flip through and read very quickly. Maybe I'm not reading every single word. Maybe I'm reading a couple of paragraphs a page or something like that. That's typically what I'll do if I'm not into a book. But I'll finish it because I'm a committed person. Sorry about that. Had to edit out a sneeze there. I've got a little bit of a cold, but nothing crazy. But yeah, so I'm a committed person. I want to know what happens at the end of a book. Like, I need to know what happens to these characters. But that is all for me today, you guys. I love you all so, so much. I am so surprised and happy that Shadow and Ember kind of pulled me back into this series. It needed to, because I honestly don't know if I was going to go forward and read The War of Two Queens or not. I may have stopped my Blood and Ash journey had I not read Shadow and Ember, and it got me pulled into this world again. So I'm so grateful that I did that. I'm excited to continue on and see what Miss Armentrout does with this series. And yeah, if you guys are looking for a good fantasy romance is what I would call this series. I've been reading a lot of fantasy romance, and I'm actually thinking about taking a little bit of a break from it, because yeah, I'm reading a thriller right now, and then I think my next book is going to be a historical thriller, but I think my 100th book is going to be fantasy. So, but I am thinking as we get into the fall season of taking a slight fantasy romance genre break, because I've been reading a lot of it. If you've been following my What I Read in a Month books, you'll notice that there's been a strong amount of fantasy romance. And that has kind of been gear-headed by TikTok a little bit. A lot of my book talk is fantasy romance based. And so I get recommendations, I get FOMO. I'm like, oh, fudge, I really, really want to read this story. This sounds so good. It sounds right up my alley. And it probably is, but I need a break. I need some historical fiction in my life. I need some maybe contemporary romance, maybe some thrillers. Definitely thrillers. I love a thriller in October, November timeframe. And then, I like to read my Christmassy type books in December. But I'm probably not going to go as hard as I did last year with just Christmas books in December. Probably space it out a little bit. But yeah, I love you guys so, so much. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Thanks for liking, subscribing. This weekend when I put the poll up, please do the poll for the 100th read of the year and just vote. If you don't know any of these books, pick the one whose title you like the best. I don't know. But yeah, love you guys so much. Later.